months ago, I had thought about doing videos one a week for art, any sort of art that I'm working on. And the idea was, if I did one video a week, not only was I going to be making progress with stuff that I had been putting off, but also it would just be fun to practice editing. I'm not really good at editing as far as I'm concerned, and it's hard trying to figure out what would be interesting in a video. And so I was like, oh, I'll do a video a week, and that immediately fell through. Just immediately, like, we did one video, and then the next week I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. So that didn't quite work. What it did end up doing, though, is I have a ton of backed up video footage of artwork that I've done that I'm currently sifting through, starting with this video, because I actually really like this art piece. There's nothing special about it. It's not like it's a masterwork piece of art or anything like that, but I made it for Valentine's Day, and I think it turned out really well, and the person that received it, my husband, really liked it as well. That's all that really matters for this particular piece. I actually, for many pieces like this, I don't have a full image in my head of what I want of that piece. I have a basic idea of what I'm looking for, but I don't have a full image. And I knew I wanted two cats sitting next to each other. One that's really happy, and the other one is also very happy, but got those cute little blinky eyes from one cat and just open eyes from the other cat. But I had no real other idea of what I wanted the background to be, and I went with something simple so I didn't have to really think about it. But also because I felt like if I pushed it too far, I would screw it up. There was a lot of, like, before this one was finished, I went through probably 7 or 8 iterations because everything I did just felt like it wasn't what I wanted from this. Very much, I'm gonna say I'm not really a perfectionist. I can accept some perfections, but you know, I thought originally I would do like a tuxedo cat, and that didn't work at all, actually. I couldn't quite get the black to do what I wanted it to do. And then, I don't know, this worked out, managed to get it all done, and I topped it off by writing a little letter to my husband and then gave it to him on Valentine's Day. And he seemed to really appreciate it, which is always a positive thing. I don't know who else went through this, but I live in an area in the world where there isn't a lot, very much rural area. And the unfortunate part is this place not only does not have a lot, it's a desert. That's like, we live in the desert. So there's no water, there's no city, there's a lot of hot. You know, it's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit here in the summer on the really bad days for several weeks, and it just kind of sucks. And with this last year being trapped at home, I've been feeling very much ready to leave and get out of here. I'm particularly tired of having to exist in the same space constantly. And I've noticed my artwork has at least started to reflect that a little bit, because I'm ready to move on and see the rest of the world and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, can't do that quite yet. mostly because we, work summons, gotta pay the bills somehow, and also both of our vehicles are in the shop actually today. So instead, one of the things I have been doing is looking at a lot of images from other places that I would much rather be. And I found this really pretty picture of, I don't know if it's Miami or something, but it was definitely a doctored image of a skyline and kind of like looking through an island at the skyline of a city. It felt so peaceful. I'm not a big fan of the city, to be honest, but I do love the way city lights reflect and look on the horizon. So I decided to do a little drawing, a little painting of that image. And it's not the exact same because, it just isn't, but it's what I wanted. This summer, we are finally coming out here in the California from the worst, I hope, of this last year. And my husband and I are vaccinated. We're ready to finally start mingling with people again. But I don't know if we're going to be hitting any big cities in the future, simply because there's so much to go see elsewhere. So much to do elsewhere. We have a lot of people we haven't seen since our friends often live, 7-8 hour drive away from where we live. Between both of our aging family and my own personal health, I just recently, I think it's only been about a year since I got a clean bill of health thanks to some blood work. So we were a little nervous about traveling too far. We just didn't know what would happen. And we didn't want to risk my health, to be completely honest. But we're free and can't wait to see the beach again. Personally, I feel like doing images like this has been a bit cathartic over the last year since I've been largely trapped at home. And I don't know, I think this one turned out pretty well. I was actually quite happy with how it turned out. Of course, that's not the only projects that I've been working on. These are smaller projects. I have a couple bigger projects that I've been working on pretty, I don't know, fairly often. There's a lot going on at the moment, but some of the bigger projects just take a little bit longer to dry in between each part of, you know, what I'm working on. So even though I really want to work on them, sometimes it just takes a little bit to get from point A to point B when you have to wait for them to dry. Oils especially are just the worst. So it's hard to do videos each week when specific paintings may take, you know, days to dry, usually days, sometimes longer. I know sometimes bigger paintings and thicker paints will take weeks, if not more, but I can't wait to get this particular one done, which is it's just going to take a little bit to get there, but I really like the way Bob Ross, because this is where I got the technique from, did Auroras, and there's a little more that I want to do, but this is not going to be a half-hour painting, even though he was able to do his in half an hour. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you some other time.